States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Berger.
Here.
Ms. Capabianco.
Here.
Mr. Corey.
Here.
Mr. Freitas.
Here.
Mr. Ippolito is on the phone.
Yep.
Here. Mr. Kisco.
Here.
Mr. Putnam.
Here.
Ms. Richardson. Here. Ms. Toder is excused. Mayor Carbo, representative. Mr. Barlow.
Here.
Ms. Ferguson. Here. Ms. Klimczewski. Here. Ms. Lewandowski. Here. Mr. Petrozelli.
Here.
Ms. Schulte.
Here.
Ms. Ians.
She's going to be on
Here.
virtually. Josh, is Mr. Ippolito muted or? Maybe he wasn't in the meeting yet. Okay, thank you. Okay, approval of agenda. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Okay, all those in favor?
John Sue.
School community service, public participation. The board invites members of the community to speak on topics to be addressed in the agenda or other topics of interest. Participants must state their name and address at the beginning of their comment. The board will not allow comments regarding specific staff members, parents, students, or personal grievances. Courtesy is expected in this limited public forum. The participating time will be limited to 3 minutes per person and 10 minutes overall. Aaron Sullivan.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Erin Sullivan. My address is 5 Silverland Passway. I teach at Torrington High School, where I've worked in the English department since 2004. I also serve as vice president of the Torrington Education Association. At the Board of Education meeting on 2/1/23, concerns were raised regarding the Yonder pouch system and enforcement of the Board of Education policy. An email was read alleging that the policy was not being enforced at Torrington High School. The ensuing conversation included further allegations that unspecified employees at Torrington High School were not enforcing policy 6041. During the 20 minutes of discussion regarding the policy and proposed policy changes, the premise of these allegations was accepted. Multiple members of the board repeated comments to the effect that, quote, "it is not fair that certain people are not enforcing this policy." Towards the end of the debate, a statement was made that non-enforcement was, quote, "not just anecdotal." In fact, anecdote is all that was presented. In the span of 20 minutes, an uninvestigated and unsubstantiated complaint became the truth. The board member who read the email alleging non-enforcement further put into record that many athletes and parents had told him the same thing. These allegations are again anecdote. However, these anecdotes became a part of the debate regarding changes in a policy without having been investigated or substantiated. I have two prevailing concerns with this occurrence. First, we do a disservice to our employees by allowing unsubstantiated comments to become part of public record. This is not sound business practice. Every attempt should be made to support staff members in the performance of their duties. Allowing gossip to have a place in policy discourse undermines that support, damages morale, and makes everybody's job more difficult. My second concern relates to how policy gets decided. Careful research and a sound line of reasoning should dictate policy, not hearsay and personal beliefs. In fact, the research presented by the superintendent at the 2/1/23 meeting undermines the allegations presented. The data and documentation indicate consistent enforcement of this policy from the students entering into the building to the ending bell at 2:10 p.m. During their presentation to the board and to the staff last year, the representatives of Yonder explained how students would attempt to circumvent the policy. It is possible that the gossip regarding cell phone usage speaks to those predicted complications. I urge the board to examine the carefully collected data in detail before making assumptions and claims about the policy's efficacy. Further, I ask members of the board to refrain from using potentially damaging hearsay and anecdotes as means of arguing a point. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Jason Lafreniere.
Good evening, Jason Locknear, Torrington Middle School Special Education Teacher, 5 Byron Drive, Granby. I'm wondering when the last time the district's Diversity and Equity Committee met and when it plans to meet again to actively promote inclusivity to all students within our district. Thank you.
Lisa Roach.
Good evening. My name is Lisa Roach and I live at 325 Allison Drive. I've been a teacher in the district for 18 years and a resident and parent here for over 30 years. I'm here to voice concerns about the proposed dress code. One thing I'm proud and happy to have witnessed is how much our students have evolved and how they treat students who are different from them. When I think of how students with disabilities or ethnic or gender differences were treated when I was a student, I can't help but feel proud of today's kids. Even when my own kids were students, there were still many incidents of intolerance and subsequent bullying than I see now. We may have our issues, but I've seen a positive evolution in how THS kids treat others, even if they perceive them as different. Often those differences are expressed in how a student dresses. The clothing one chooses or happens to have if they are disadvantaged socioeconomically is a deeply personal part of their lives and identity. I believe that forcing faculty and staff to target something so personal will be detrimental to everyone involved. The children and young adults in our care take their signals from us. If we are targeting differences, so will they. If we target appearance, so will they. Our students are still processing social and emotional issues from the pandemic. They need more support, not more control. They need us to accept them for who they are, not target them for what they're wearing. They need us to see them, not judge them. Our students walk in every day. The first thing they have to do is prove that they put their phone away. The teachers at the door are very careful to be friendly and welcoming as students move through the process and follow protocol. This policy shift was a major and unwelcome change for students. They're still adjusting to a strict policy implemented just last year that requires they turn over something that has become a comfort object. In enforcing this policy, our teachers are writing 3 times the office referrals. Hitting students with another strict policy change that takes away another bit of their identity will force more conflict, referrals, and lost instructional time. Teachers, staff, and administration see firsthand the need to be mindful of our students' SEL needs. Mental health issues are way up, as we all know, and we've rightfully been tasked with ensuring our lessons include opportunities to address SEL needs. Establishing and maintaining trusting relationships with our kids is especially difficult when we're directed to police not only the usual rules, quickly changing tech issues, but also what students are wearing. Again, a child's clothing is a very personal matter, and determining something like the fabric of their pants will make it much more difficult for our students to see us as trusted adults. And have we fully considered the economic effects on our students and families? I would have to replace 90% of my wardrobe if I couldn't wear yoga-style pants. In addition to the detrimental effects of the proposed policy on our students, we should consider the effect on the school system. In my own research of nearby districts and others similar to us demographically, I had more questions than answers. First, I looked into data on positive effects of dress codes and uniforms. Turns out the results are very mixed and at best inconclusive. A cross-section of studies shows little to no correlation between dress codes and academic achievement. Next, I looked at several districts' policies. Time and again, successful districts have policies rooted in the 21st century. In one comparison, I zeroed in on Norwich and Groton public schools. I was surprised to see we had pretty much taken Norwich's strict policy verbatim. Norwich, by the way, is unique in that it has a private high school that is free to Norwich residents. Their strict policy is actually a transition from a uniform system. Groton, a district that shares many demographic similarities with us, actually has no set policy. The only mention was language focused on making sure gender differences were protected in terms of student dress. A look at Hartford and New Britain versus West Hartford and Bristol found that while Hartford and New Britain require uniforms, West Hartford, which is surprisingly similar to us in diversity, and Bristol have policies designed to protect student rights rather than curtail them. In district after district, most schools now have broad policies that only restrict dress based on safety or insulting language or images. Policy language is geared toward protecting student rights, not restricting them. Successful districts with high grad rates and test scores have 21st century policies, mindful of student identity. Many include the phrase student dress and general appearance shall rest with individual students and parents. So a few questions. Why would we want to emulate Norwich or inner city schools less successful than TPS? What national or state data is being used to drive such a strict policy change? And have there been incidents reported in our own schools that were a direct result of student apparel? We need to decide if we truly want to be a successful 21st century district. Wouldn't we rather be more like Groton and Bristol, who have similar demographics but higher grad rates and test scores than Norwich or New Britain? To most people, including prospective Torrington residents, taxpayers, nothing says inner city schools more than a restricted dress code or uniform. We're working hard to establish a 21st century vision and portrait of a graduate. To make that vision a reality, we need 21st century policies. On a personal and professional note, please do not direct me, my colleagues, to police something so personal to our students as their dress and general appearance. Thank you.
Recognitions.
So as I always say, this is the best part of the meeting to really acknowledge our students and our staff and our community, and we have several folks here tonight. So thank you for not leaving us lonely as we start our meeting. So we're going to first start with our elementary school. We're going to start with Forbes. And this student is very familiar with this concept. Micah Martin is a multi-talented student who has won the local and county level 5 Torrington poster contest. She's now headed off to the competition at the state level, which is quite remarkable. She has already qualified for prizes throughout the program, but now she's in the running for a $750 gift card and possible honors at the state level. Maya has also, last year, she honored the Kentucky County Superintendent Award for her assistant grade. Come on up. So from Torrington, we have a staff member who we are acknowledging this evening. And that staff member is Demi Amati. She is our district-wide behavior interventionist who supports all 4 elementary schools. Recently, she's been jumping in and helping supporting the voice program in Guilford. Demi is a team player who's always worked to share her expertise, her positive energy, and her charisma. She has built a strong rapport with students, with staff, parents, case managers. She jumps in wherever she is needed. The staff would like to clone her. So congratulations, and with much gratitude, congratulations, staff. And TMS, another staff member who we are acknowledging this evening, and that staff member is Harrison Hill. She's been a stable force at the middle school for many, many years. She's a fantastic asset to the school and fitness committee. Her enthusiasm and dedication are there's deep ties within the community, and she's graduated her skills. She has been a constant presence on the fitness committee, and for that, we greatly appreciate her efforts. In 2018, as the leader of the committee, she worked with stakeholders to create our fitness trail that now surrounds the TMA, the Torrington Middle School campus. So when you go, you can actually see it all the way around, which is quite impressive. In addition to the 16 different stations, the committee is adding a calisthenics station and signage so that people know how to use the fitness trail. In addition, she is working to creatively utilize every inch of the outdoor space. I have no doubt, I'm not surprised, including the sidewalks to encourage healthy habits for our students and the greater community. And our community on weekends and after hours really does use that business. We are very proud of the work that Karen has done and continues to do both inside and outside of nurse's office. Come on down here. Also at Torrington Middle School, we have Savannah State. And Savannah is an 8th grader at Torrington Middle School. Savannah has her own jewelry making business. So the young entrepreneur decided that if she could do it, maybe she could inspire others, other budding entrepreneurs at TMS. And so then the Youth Entrepreneurs Club was born. So each week she plans her lessons for the group. And with the help of Miss Desiderio, Savannah decided to also take on a fundraiser with proceeds to benefit the Susan B. Anthony Foundation. Savannah has been working to organize and tirelessly fill orders. Her leadership and dedication have led the club to donating over $500. Awesome. Savannah has also joined our Besties Club at the school, and in addition, she dances at the Center for Advanced Arts in town. In October, she was awarded the Academic Excellence Award for Sapphire House. Savannah is an outstanding role model for leadership and hard work. Congratulations, Savannah. And now on to Torrington High School. On January 28th, Torrington High School sent its first team to an in-person event at the Connecticut Ethics School at UConn in Stores. That was very impressive. We had a small team compete last year virtually, but this year they were able to actually go in person. So it's really a whole different experience, right? So these students were all enrolled, or are all enrolled in the THS Policy Philosophy course under the direction of Mr. Richardson, who was also here this evening. Our team battled this year's state champions, and the school that had been state finalists for 6 of the 7 last years. They ended in a draw. Very, very impressive. Judges couldn't pick a winner. We were just 1 to 2 wins away from representing Connecticut at the Nationals in North Carolina. So most of the prep work for this competition was during weekends, nights, even during the winter break. So these kids worked really hard. So both Massac and high school and Oxford School expressed interest in scrimmaging with Torrington High School before next year's competition. So congratulations to the following students. I'm going to read them all. I believe only one of them is here this evening, but when you hear the name, come on down. Jake Dudek. Torrington, Brianna Morelli, Jessica Magna, Melanie Blanco, and Faisal Alam. Olivia Rinaldi and Jordan Lovato helped during this process, but they weren't able to attend the event. I believe that Jake's also going to be our student reporter for tonight. Did they tell you that? Yeah. So do you want to join us at the big table for just a little bit? Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. Yeah, not so scary. You get to sit next to this guy.
I would be worried.
Thank you for coming. We're going to put you up first so you can get to practice.
Perfect.
So thank you very much.
So to get started, 11 raffle baskets have been created by departments for the St. Jude Telethon. We are excited to host the St. Jude Telethon here on Sunday, March 4th. Also, our theater group is underway preparing for their next show, SpongeBob the Musical. For our science department, former graduates visited integrated science classrooms. Marera, a THS 2019 grad, visited with Megan, a fellow Husky, to talk to the freshmen in integrated science. They are the president and vice president of the UConn Chemistry Club. They went through some demos and talked with the kids about STEM. And then tomorrow morning, our juniors will take the NGSS test. For professional learning department, teachers participated in professional development on February 21st about making thinking visible, and in the afternoon on English language learning strategies, math strategies for discourse, and science professional learning with the Connecticut Science Center. Music department, Mr. Wayne Spletzoser will be honored with an award here tomorrow for being selected as the National Federation of High School Music Teachers, Teacher of the Year for the state of Connecticut. School counseling, FAFSA kicked off, and tonight there is a college funding night for juniors and underclassmen. For social studies, History Day work is in progress. We are hopeful for this Saturday's event. And then finally, athletics. Our girls basketball team won their first CIAC round game on Monday and are on to the second round. Our boys swim team is currently competing in the NBL Championships finals today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. entertain a motion to go into executive session regarding the TEA MOA, inviting in Superintendent Lebowski and Ms. Schulze.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Johnny, recuse yourself.